Hey there everybody, welcome to the P10 worksheet. We are looking at solving system of inequalities with this particular section. What we're going to have are two inequality graphs. They will overlap, and our job will be to say that the answer is the area that is shaded for both of them. In other words, the overlap of the two shadings. So let's start by graphing the first inequality here. We have a y-intercept of 2. And a slope of -4/3. So we're going to go down 4 to the right 3. Set our second point, and we come back. Before we draw the line, we got to decide, is it a solid or dotted line? There's no equal part. So when we go and do this problem, we are going to have a dotted line. And remember our rationale behind deciding which way to shade. The y is on the left and positive. That means greater than means that we're shading up. And so I will shade very lightly upward. In the case of the second one, we've got y is greater than or equal to 1/3 x minus 3. The y-intercept is -3. A slope of 1/3, so up 1 to the right 3, happens to share a point here. And we're going to draw the line. Now we got to determine, is it greater? And by the way, there's Albert Pujols again. You noticed him on the last graph, but say hello to Albert. And we do have an equal sign on this one, so we are going to go with a solid line. Arrows are outside the grid. And in this case, the y is on the left, it's positive, so we can use our greater than, less than idea. This is greater than, so we are shading upward. All right, so we are shading in this direction. And the answer to the question is, where do the two shadings overlap? It's right there, so we shade that in dark. So technically, any point that is on the line from this point to the right is good because it's solid. Anything that is on this line is not, because it's dotted, but anything to just barely to the right of it, or above it, I should say, does work. And then anything in the shaded area is also an ordered pair that would work. Taking a look at question number 3. We've got a y-intercept of 2. A slope of -1, and technically -1/1, so down 1 to the right 1. There is no equal part, so I'm going dotted line. Arrows are on the outside of the grid, and I'm shading. Y is on the left, it's positive, so less than means shade down. So I'm shading very lightly downward. Second inequality, we've got a -3. Slope of 4, technically 4/1, so I'm up 4 to the right 1. This does not have an equal sign, so the line is dotted. Arrow, arrow, outside the grid. And again, we're less than, and so remember the y, since y is on the left and positive, we use the greater than, less than idea. Greater than means up, less than means down on the y-axis. Well, the y-axis goes down this side, and so we're shading this very lightly. And where is that overlap? It's right there, so I shade that in just a little darker so everybody knows, hey, here's my answer, everybody. Now, technically, the answer is anything in the shaded area not on the lines because the lines are dotted. Question number 5, y-intercept of 1. Slope -1/1. Down 1 to the right 1. There is an equal sign on this one, so we're going with that solid line here. Got a solid line. Y is on the left, positive. Greater than means shade up. -3 for a y-intercept. Slope 1 third, up 1 to the right 3. Hey, take a look there. As we write on that line, there is an equal part to this one. So we're going to go with a solid line. Arrows are outside the grid. This is a less than, so we're shading down. And where is that overlap? It's just this little area down here, which technically, if we were to extend the graph, would keep expanding and expanding. But we want to understand that the answer to the question is any XY value that fits on this line from this point down, from this point to the right, and anything in between in that dark shaded area. Those are all ordered pairs that would work in this inequality. Your job is to do 2, 4, and 6. Send that results to me. If you're doing really well, we'll get you the assessment that goes with it. See you guys.